I just moved in, and the college girl across the hall reported me to the police, claiming I was stalking her out of twisted obsession and peeping on her while she showered. When the police showed up at my door, she was crying her eyes out, pointing her finger right at my nose and screaming, "Pervert! You've been using binoculars to spy on me every night! You even posted my photos online! I saw you! Those disgusting, leering eyes of yours make me sick!" The neighbors around us started pointing and whispering. Some even shoved me, calling me the scum of society. This creep should be chemically castrated. He looks so normal on the outside, but he's actually a peeping Tom. Facing their accusations, I removed the sunglasses from my face, revealing two deeply sunken, empty eye sockets. "Officer, tell me, how exactly does a blind man peep on anyone?" My voice wasn't loud, but it pierced through the chaotic air in that room like an awl. The neighbors who had just been shoving and cursing at me froze mid-motion. The middle-aged woman who'd been leading the charge stood there with her hand still raised in mid-air, forgetting to lower it. Every pair of eyes in the room locked onto my face, or more precisely, onto the two hollow, eyeball-less cavities where my eyes should have been. These were the permanent marks left on me 3 years ago, in a fire. The lead officer was experienced. His name was William. He froze for a moment, then furrowed his brow, his tone thick with impatience. "Don't lie to us. Whether you're really blind or not, we'll find out at the hospital." The girl across the hall, Mia Lee, paused her crying for a beat, then burst into even shriller sobs. "He's lying. He's just trying to get away with it. There's no way he can't see. He stands by his window watching me every night. Those eyes, those eyes." She seemed to want to describe my eyes, but the sight of my empty sockets scared her speechless. She just pointed at me, trembling all over. "Disgusting! This is so disgusting!" Her outburst stirred up the neighbors again. "Right! He must be faking it! These days criminals will do anything. He'd even claim to be blind just to escape punishment." A young man even stepped forward indignantly, trying to grab me by the collar. "You scum! I'm going to teach you a lesson today." The police officer blocked him. "What are you doing? Everyone stay back. The police will handle this." He turned to me, his eyes still full of suspicion and disgust. "You're coming with us." I didn't resist. I calmly held out both hands. Cold metal touched my wrists. Two younger officers flanked me on either side and led me toward the elevator. Behind me, Mia's crying mixed with the neighbors' curses into a chaotic din. "Scum of society! Get out of our community! Hope you rot in prison!" I could see the righteous expressions on their faces. I could also hear the pleasure in their voices as they trampled me into the mud. I stepped into the elevator. The metal doors slowly closed, cutting off the noise from outside. One of the younger officers, probably new to the job, couldn't help but ask me quietly, Are you really blind?" I tugged at the corner of my mouth but didn't answer. The other officer patted his shoulder, signaling him to keep quiet. But I knew that in their minds, the scales had already tipped completely in favor of that tearful young girl. After all, it was a young, pretty, pitiful college student on one side, and on the other, a suspicious man living alone, wearing sunglasses. In their eyes, it was crystal clear who was the victim and who was the perpetrator. What they didn't know was this. Sometimes, what the eyes see is the biggest lie of all. And I, a blind man, had seen something that none of them had. For instance, when Mia accused me, her heartbeat was steady, without a single ripple of genuine emotion. The interrogation room at the police station was harshly lit by fluorescent lights, and the air smelled faintly of mildew. I sat on a cold metal chair. Across from me were William and a female officer taking notes. Name, Lucas. Age, 28. Occupation, unemployed. William slammed his pen down on the table with a sharp crack. "Lucas, I suggest you come clean. We have witnesses and evidence. How long do you think you can keep lying?" I faced in his direction and asked calmly, "What witnesses? What evidence?" "The witness is the victim, Mia. As for the evidence," William paused, seeming to realize this was a bit tricky. "We're still searching for it. Don't think you're off the hook just because you won't confess." He raised his voice, trying to intimidate me with sheer force. "Mia has already told us everything. You just moved in a week ago and started peeping. Every night at 8 o'clock when she takes her shower, you stand across from her with binoculars and watch. You even took photos of her and posted them on foreign websites to make money. Your behavior constitutes a serious crime. If you confess now, we can still request leniency." I almost laughed out loud. What a well-crafted story. Time, location, tools, motive, everything was there. If I weren't the person being accused, I might have believed it myself. "William," I interrupted his long-winded lecture. "First, I don't own any binoculars. Second, I don't have the tools to commit this crime. My computer and phone were replaced 3 years ago with devices designed for the blind. They don't even have cameras. Third, and most importantly, I enunciated each word clearly. I am blind." William's breathing grew noticeably heavier. "I told you don't use that as an excuse. Whether you're really blind or not, we'll take you for testing. Until the test results come back, you're our prime suspect." At that moment, the interrogation room door swung open. A young officer poked his head in. "Captain, the victim is extremely emotional. She won't stop crying. She's saying she'll report us to our superiors for covering for a criminal." William's face darkened. "Got it." He waved the young officer away, then glared at me fiercely. Of course, I couldn't see his glare, but I could hear his teeth grinding. "Lucas, do you have any idea how much pressure we're under because of you? She's a student at a top university. This case is getting a lot of public attention. If we don't handle this properly, the entire station is going to take heat for it." I understood now. To him, the truth mattered less than keeping the peace, and the easiest way to keep the peace was to get me to confess. "So, to save you from getting criticized, I have to admit to something I didn't do." My tone turned cold. William seemed infuriated by my attitude. "What kind of tone is that? Who do you think you are? Let me tell you something. Once you're in here, you follow our rules. You won't talk? Fine. We have ways to make you." He stood up, looming over me from above. "Lock him up. Once we get the search warrant, we'll tear his place apart." "I don't believe we won't find evidence." The door opened. Two officers officers came in and grabbed me by the arms again. I didn't struggle. I knew that from the moment Mia reported me, I'd already fallen into a carefully designed trap. If they dared to do this, they must have prepared everything perfectly. Next, they would find so-called evidence in my apartment, and I would be nailed to the pillar of shame forever. The cold iron door slammed shut behind me with a heavy echo. I'd been locked in a temporary holding cell. The room was small, just a hard bed and a toilet. The air reeked of disinfectant mixed with despair. I felt my way to the bed and sat down, listening quietly to the sounds outside. Footsteps echoed up and down the hallway, mixed with hushed conversations. That's the peeping pervert. Looks so normal, but he's actually disgusting. I heard he's blind. Must be faking it, right? Who knows? Either way, he's finished. Of all people to mess with, he picks a college girl. These voices pierced my ears like countless tiny needles. I'd long since grown used to the darkness, but for the first time, it felt unbearably cold and cutting. About 2 hours later, the iron door opened again. It was William. He was holding a clear evidence bag, a smug smile on his face. He waved it in front of me. "Lucas, look at this." He seemed to forget I couldn't see. He revealed the answer himself, his voice dripping with satisfaction. "We found this under your windowsill. Military-grade binoculars. And this." He pulled out another evidence bag containing a digital camera. "We found tons of photos of Mia on this camera. From all kinds of angles. Absolutely disgusting. Now, what do you have to say?" I remained silent, but inside, I was reeling. They moved fast. They'd already planted all the evidence. Seeing that I didn't respond, William assumed I was admitting guilt. He pulled over a chair and sat across from me, his tone taking on a lecturing quality, as if he were scolding a clueless kid. "Lucas. Oh, Lucas. You're young. You're not bad looking. Why do something so sleazy? Now the evidence is right here. There's no point denying it. Just sign the papers. I'll even ask the prosecutor to go easy on you. Maybe you'll get a few years shaved off your sentence." He pushed a document and an ink pad toward me. "Come on. Press your fingerprint. Let's end this quickly. It's better for everyone." I could hear the dismissiveness and impatience in his tone. He didn't care about the truth. He just wanted to close the case. I slowly lifted my head and faced him. "William, if I press my fingerprint, does that mean I'm admitting to all the charges?" "Of course. And I'll be convicted of indecent assault and distributing obscene materials?" "That's right. Combined charges, at least 3 years minimum. My name, my life, I'll be branded as a rapist and a pervert forever?" William's patience seemed to run out. "Why are you talking so much? You brought this on yourself. Who else is there to blame?" I laughed. The sound echoed eerily in the empty holding cell. "Yeah, who else is there to blame?" I murmured to myself. Then I reached out, groping for the transcript. Just as William thought I was about to press my fingerprint, I used every ounce of strength I had and tore that document to shreds. Paper scraps fluttered down like snowflakes. William was stunned. He hadn't expected me to do that. You're insane!" He shot to his feet, pointing at my nose and roaring. "This is resisting law enforcement. You're making it worse for yourself." I faced his fury and said, slowly and clearly, "I didn't do it. I won't admit to a single word. You can fabricate evidence. You can beat a confession out of me, but you will never make me bow. Want me to confess? You'll have to kill me first." My words were like a resounding slap across William's face. His face turned from red to green, then from green to purple. Fine, he said. "Fine," 3 times, trembling with rage. "You've got guts. Let's see just how tough you really are." He spun around and stormed out, shouting into the hallway. "Someone get in here! Cuff him! File for formal detention! I'm going to make him understand what the law's authority really means." 2 officers rushed in and roughly dragged me off the bed. Cold handcuffs clamped onto my wrists again, this time tighter than before, biting painfully into my skin. They shoved me forward, making me stumble as I walked. Just then, my phone rang. It was that monotone electronic tone unique to phones designed for the blind. One officer moved to hang up impatiently, but I spoke. "Let me answer it." My tone carried an undeniable calm. The officers hesitated. William barked. "Answer what? Take him away. If this call delays you from learning the truth you want, the consequences are on you." My words made William freeze. He looked at me suspiciously. Finally, he signaled for his subordinate to hand me the phone. I fumbled for the answer button. On the other end, old, familiar female voice spoke. "Lucas, this is your landlord. I'm giving you 3 days to move out of my apartment. I don't want a disgusting peeping Tom living in my property."